¿Qué tal, amigos? Bienvenidos. We are back here in LatiNation Futbol Club, and we have a banger of an episode today. We're going to cover a very difficult topic, the elimination of the MLS teams, and some surprises in the Club World Cup, this tournament that has taken the world of football in its grasp because the games in the field have been amazing, the attendance not so much, but we're gonna go deep into this and Copa de Oro with my good team, Chiva Mayor, Alex Crespo, here with me right now to discuss, first of all, two painful eliminations. One that came from South America with Boca Juniors, one that came from North America with LAFC. Seattle is out, MLS only represented by Miami now, Chiva. I was wrong. I have to accept. Miami surprised me. They are playing at a very high level, knocking out big results, but LAFC is out, Chiva.
Hi, my beloved LAFC. Yeah, I mean, we came to participate. Our hopes were high. I think that after what we saw versus Chelsea, we had the hope that they were going to deliver and get some more points to be able to qualify.
Yep.
At the end of the day, they struggled with this Esperanza de Tunis, and I think that was a key game for them to be eliminated right now. They came to learn. I mean, obviously, it was not a successful tournament, but at the end of the day, they represented the MLS, and I'm happy for that.
I will go to the extent of calling it a failure. A team like LAFC with that level of talent up top, having a player like Buanga just choke in crucial moment like that penalty against Esperanza de Tunis, I feel it's a warning sign. We've been talking about this for a long time. The team is not performing. Cherundolo has lost the tactical compass of the team, and this is a proof that the team needs a complete rebuild, I think. Another heavy loss in the tournament. Boca Juniors started playing really well, seemed like they were going to get the result with Benfica, and then little by little they collapsed till the, dare I say, embarrassing result of tying with an amateur team from New Zealand, Auckland. Tell me, Alex, how does it feel?
I mean, this is, a tragedy, honestly, for the Boca team. I think this really goes to show that the first games in this tournament are the ones that matter the most. I mean, they had the result against Benfica at first, and then they let it slip out of their hands, which ultimately was the ending result of having them depend on that last game with Benfica Bayern. They had to depend on that result to be able to qualify. And, honestly, it's a little embarrassing that, it was a tie game for that Auckland City game. But, at the end of the day, it just goes to show that they needed to start it off a lot better than they did. And La Hinchada showed up. Yep. They were proud of how they played in those first two games. But, at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to qualify.
I think that it is important to say, in behalf of Boca Juniors, that like you said, the Hinchada sometimes is so intense, is so loyal, that it might be, disguising the reality of the team. Boca Juniors is a team that, as of now, failed to qualify, to advance from the pre-Libertadores tournament. This is a tournament that they used to win, and now they can even make it to the final elimination part of that tournament. So I think that, just like LAFC, this is a call for these teams to realize that they have, Boca Juniors is a much more historic and long-tenured team than LAFC, but I feel like they share the commitment to their fans to play a certain way, and that was not the case. Chiva, what needs to happen in LAFC so this not happen again?
Right now, there's a rumor going on that America wants Buanga.
Yeah.
And this is gonna probably not sound right, but I think it's time for Buanga to leave the team.
Yeah.
I think why I say this, that the team depends too much on him. And I do believe that we have a team to play as a team. I love Buanga. He's an amazing player. I think he has a lot of history within LAFC, all the goals that he has scored. But, I mean, it's been too much. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, they have to rebuild the team without Buanga, take advantage of that offer from America to bring more players. Not like Mueller, sorry, but we don't need somebody like Mueller. We need youngsters, like, when they brought Diego Rossi, Brian Rodriguez, et cetera, a complete change with LAFC. That's what's going to help them, keep being the team that they are in the MLS.
Without a doubt, LAFC works better when they are relying on young players, and they have been very successful in not only developing these players, but making good money out of them. They have sold plenty of players that they get under $1 million and sell them for $8-10 million. So the investment have been working, and now it seems like they're reverting to a model where they try to bring these proven names, and they make the team very predictable, I think. Now, let's move on to some other teams that were surprisingly out in the group stage of this tournament. For me, the most important name that is out the door is Atletico de Madrid. They collapsed. They put a lot of reasons why they didn't perform, like the hit, but that loss 4-0 to PSG really wiped them out of the tournament. What do you think happened with Atletico de Madrid?
They never adjust to the tournament, to the heat, to the turf, to being here and Pasadena, because they play most of the games here. And I think we saw it since the game versus PSG, they never showed up.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they're eliminated.
Yeah, they had a chance with Seattle that also got eliminated. Seattle showing the worst performance in paper, because if you were watching the games, you realized that Seattle was playing really well. They were putting everything that they had, but it was just not enough. They didn't get a single point. Not even Auckland had that performance. And so if you see this panorama, quien dice, you see that LAFC and Seattle, which are two of the most powerful teams in the league, are at the very bottom of the table, Chiva. What does that mean for MLS? And now, do we depend on Miami to be, relevant in the world?
I mean, to be relevant in the world, you need more than winning points. Even if they would have advanced and just make it to the second round, that wouldn't make a difference to the world. At the end of the day, they show LAFC play an amazing game versus Chelsea. They should have lost that game. They show a good face, at least in that game. Same thing with Seattle, Botafogo, Atletico de Madrid. I mean, they performed pretty good. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't deliver. And that's the difference between a team that is worth millions and millions of dollars to a team from the MLS that has a salary cap that doesn't let you bring more players than what you need.
What was the biggest surprise for you in this stage group? Either teams that got eliminated or teams that are really overperforming?
We saw Botafogo beat Paris Saint-Germain. That's like one of the biggest games. I mean, that goes to show that are we seeing that maybe South American soccer is better than European? I mean, this is El Campeón de Europa versus El Campeón de Sudamérica with the Copa Libertadores. This goes to show that, most of the time, these European teams come here and they think, oh, this is a team from Brazil, who cares? It's gonna be a walk in the park. But then they go and they lose 1-0 against Botafogo. And that really surprised me, honestly, because it's like you would expect more of a fight from Paris, especially after their Champions League win. And honestly, I was all for Botafogo that game. It was amazing, I think.
Do you think that the big teams are going to take this tournament, or are we going to see some surprises?
I think we're going to see a surprise in the final, maybe a Brazilian team making it to a final, because I mean, we've seen it before with the Copa Intercontinental, with Boca, River, some of the Brazilian teams beating the European teams at those games. And I do believe that it's going to be South America versus Europe with an amazing game, but I think that a European team is going to take the tournament.
What about you, Alex?
I mean, honestly, I feel the same. I think it's going to be a Brazilian team in the final. We could see a European team, but I feel like it's just one of these tournaments that anything could happen. And we're going to be seeing like a huge upset with these European teams. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised seeing Monterrey in the later stages of this tournament, because the way that they've been playing, I mean, they haven't gotten a crazy win or anything, but the way that they've been defending has just been out of this world.
Sergio Ramos, a 25-year-old defender, playing with a heart and representing the badge of Monterrey. Like, you wouldn't believe a player that has won it all with Real Madrid will do for a team that, compared to Real Madrid, is in a completely different category. I think that Manchester City is one of the favorites to win after seeing the performance. They have Rodri back. The team is starting to look like the normal self. So I wouldn't be surprised that Manchester City is a surprise that was counted out at the beginning. But with that, my friends, it's time to go on a break here in LatiNation Football Club. When we come back, we're going to be talking about Copa de Oro, my friends. All the playoffs are lined up, and we're going to tell you what to expect. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm Marcelino Ortiz, and this is LatiNation Football Club.
as we know, it's just we enter every year and it's, is this the Ravens' time? Is this Lamar Jackson's turn? Can they get past the Chiefs and all of these other, stalwarts of the AFC? But it's always really about Kansas City when we're talking Baltimore.
This potentially, Adam, as I send it back to you, potentially is a game changer in that you get a very talented quarter at a discount price.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We are seeing unbelievable temperature surges over the past couple days. So I wanted to ask you this question to let the people know, how do we account for that in our handicapping? Two good pitchers on the mound, but you look at a place like Wrigley Field, let's just say, 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, 90-plus degree temperatures. Is it almost like you say to yourself, you just have to fade the environment and not worry about the pitchers? Because if we're hitting fly balls, they're going yard.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Was the first time, I think, in Dodgers history that the ballpark was full in the first inning. Everybody was there to see Shohei Ohtani throw his first pitch as a Dodger, and I had mixed emotions about this for a few reasons. Number one, it was a reminder of, wow, this is so crazy, right? You're watching him hit 98, 99, even 100 on the radar gun going, this guy's not human. Nobody should be able to be this good of a hitter or this good of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
I can't even believe I'm saying pitcher's battle and using the words Patrick Corbin. But can I tell you, Scott, he's a different guy. He's a totally different guy with the Rangers than we've seen.
I say this all the time. Don't worry about the first 5 innings. Don't even watch the first 5 innings in Texas Ranger games. Because for whatever reason, there's a ton of runs scored in the first 5, and then it just stops. It just stops.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? We are back here in LatiNation Football Club, and I'm very excited because now we go to the international tournament, the most important in Concacaf this summer, Copa de Oro, a tournament that unfortunately is not enjoying of the top players of every country because some of them are playing the Club World Cup, some of them decided to take the summer off, but we had an intensive first round. Now we move on to 4 playoff games, do or die, this weekend, and we start with Panama versus Honduras. Chiva, do you think Panama will continue its dominance? Because right now, for me, it's the team number 4 in the region.
I mean, Panama has shown in the past Gold Cup and I forget the name, Leagues Cup, that they are finalists. They have played a final against Mexico. They have made the semifinals. I mean, Honduras, they'll be struggling. I mean, they got overscored versus Canada 6-0. They were able to qualify, but at the end of the day, I think Panama's going to take the game. They're gonna outrun Honduras and make it to the semifinal.
Panama is the favorite to qualify to the World Cup once you take into account that Mexico, Canada, and the United States will not be participating in that tournament. Now, let's go to the big game that is going to happen on Saturday. Alex, Mexico versus Saudi Arabia, Arabia Saudita, a team that defeated Messi and Argentina in the World Cup. Do you think they have a chance to do the upset and kick Mexico out of the competition?
I mean, honestly, I feel like it's very possible. I think this is one of those games where you think it would be one-sided with Mexico going into advancing in this type of tournament, but Saudi has, as you said, they really upset Messi and Argentina in that early stage of the World Cup, and I think we can't count them out in this tournament. Honestly, I think Mexico has the upper hand, but you never know.
Chiva, we saw Santi Jimenez scoring a banger of a goal, showing the level. It was disallowed for an earlier offside. How critical is for Mexico to win this tournament and be undeniable before they go off to the final year before the World Cup?
I mean, with all the press going against them, every time they play, regardless if they win or lose, I think it's very important for them to take that pressure out of their shoulder going towards the World Cup. Now, it's a one game. Anything can happen in one game. Yeah. And they can easily get eliminated if they don't perform 100%. Now, I do believe that Santi Jimenez and Raul Jimenez are doing their job, especially Raul. Raul is looking so good. Thank God after his injury, he's back. And I think that's only going to help Mexico look better. And the defense, with Montes doing really good as a captain with Edson Alvarez. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we're building a team. even if they get eliminated, people have to understand that this is for them to build a team towards the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world if they don't win the Gold Cup, but they're always the number one favorite, and if they don't, they're gonna be criticized. But regardless, they always are.
And now let's project into the future, Chiva. Do you feel the Mexican fans are gonna show up to support their team? Do you feel they are connected? Do you think that they are, vibing with the team right now?
It's been a weird situation for all the things that have been going around here, especially in California, with the coach not coming out and supporting the immigrants here in the United States. But at the end of the day, I mean, the fans have showed up, If we don't see full stadiums like before, but again, there's too many reasons why. Mexico always plays as a local team here in the United States. So I don't have a doubt that they're going to show up, especially for this game.
Let's go with the arch rival, the United States, playing on Sunday against Costa Rica, La Costa Rica del Piojo, that is playing at a high level. The last group game was against Mexico. Very, very even game. They play with a lot of heart. I know you're a Pochettino fan. The team, like you said, improved. We gave them a little bit of time. The team gelled with Pochettino. Do you feel Pochettino has figured out this team and will take it to the final?
I mean, I think so. I think with Costa Rica and Mexico in that game, it ended up 0-0. I think that goes to show that Costa Rica is not a team that you want to put aside, that they have the fight in them to keep it going. And United States, if they keep this run going, I think that they could definitely get, a close win over Costa Rica now that they've built that foundation together to advance into the...
Chiva, we were talking last week with Nick how important was or wasn't to have Pulisic in this team. Clearly, the team is not missing him much. Do you feel this will change the chemistry of the team if they try to bring him back into the fold after having a quite successful Gold Cup without him, creating a team chemistry with a different system, and then you try to bring Pulisic to make him the star and the 10 right in the middle of it? Can that affect the plans long term?
Well, I hope not for the U.S. national team of followers. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Pulisic, the best soccer player of the U.S. And it's not like if they have a lot of talent. Let's face it, and I mean A-class talent. At the end of the day, Pulisic is one of those players that you want to have in your team regardless of the situation. And hopefully for them, they can come together and play as a team with him or without him. They have shown so far that without him, they're able to perform. But come on, let's face it, it's Copa Oro, it's Concacaf. They haven't win against the European teams. They play against Turkey, they play against Switzerland, if I'm not mistaken, and they couldn't deliver, So now let's see against Costa Rica. Costa Rica with Piojo Herrera, that one thing he enjoys a lot is beating the U.S., whether it's in the club or with the national team. And with Keylor Navas on fire, finally back with the Costa Rica team. Everybody thought that he was retired from Costa Rica already. Piojo Herrera convinced him to come back, and he has delivered against Mexico. If he wasn't playing, they would have lost the game.
Yeah, no, Keylor Navas, the best goalkeeper in the history of CONCACAF and one of the top 5 in my book in the world. Now, the last game, Canada versus Guatemala. Guatemala, a team that surprising everyone. Another dark horse candidate to make it to the World Cup in the next cycle, but they have Canada in front. For me, the most disciplined, the most evolved team in the whole competition. Chiva, is Canada taking it away from the U.S. and Mexico, just slip it away?
I don't know. I mean, against Canada, against Guatemala, they are, by the way, Guatemala with a Mexican coach. There's three national teams right now with Mexican coaches. Luis Fernando Tena, an amazing coach that has delivered for the people from Guatemala. I don't see Guatemala beating Canada. I do see Canada probably making the final. It all depends who do they play. I think they're going to play against the U.S. if they both advance. I mean, Canada is a powerhouse with Jesse March in the house, with the players that they have in Europe. To me, man, it's so close and up top with Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. that we don't know who can win this tournament. At the end of the day, it's the ones that is more focused, the ones that is more concentrated, and the ones that play like a real team is the one that is going to take the Gold Cup.
It is time for us to take a break, my friends. But when we come back, I'm going to give you a special rundown of all the round of 16 of the Club World Cup, so you are ready, so you know your odds, and if you want to put some money into it, this is the time to tune in. So when we come back, you'll know it all.
What do you make of this price tag here, reportedly, of $1.7 billion for a club that right now technically doesn't even have a home ballpark?
We don't see a lot of teams sold in Major League Baseball. I mean, if you go back to 2020, Steve Cohen bought the New York Mets for $2.4 billion. The only team sold since then was the Orioles last year, also for around $1.7 billion.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brett dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Soy Marcelino Ortiz and welcome back to LatiNation Football Club, and I have a special report straight from the trophy room at the clubhouse of LatiNation Football Club because we are breaking down the round of 16 of the Club World Cup. That's right, the group stage is over and let's go from the top of the Americas all the way to the bottom. MLS, LAFC and Seattle are out and Miami is the last competitor coming from North America. Then from Mexico, Pachuca is out and Monterrey is still alive. Moving on to the round of 16. Argentina is no more. Both Boca and River are out of the competition with disastrous performances. But in Brazil, El Jogo Bonito vive because the 4 teams advanced to the next round. And this is important because now we are going to see these teams making the big bucks. If you move on to the round of 16, $7 million. If you move on to the quarterfinals, 13 more. But if you make it to the semifinals, there's some 20 all the way to the final. And you win the tournament and your team makes $125 million. And that's why we're breaking down each game because there's a lot at stake. And we start, unfortunately, with a cruel development of the football gods. 2 Brazilian teams will have to eliminate each other. Palmeiras versus Botafogo. These teams have proven that they are at the level of any European contender. Palmeiras, pedigree of the Brazilian tournament, facing the current champion of Copa Libertadores. Botafogo, a team that surprised everyone in the group stage with an electrifying soccer. I say Botafogo will advance and they will make it at least to the semifinals. Then we move on to Benfica versus Chelsea. This all-European affair. Benfica and Di Maria are hungry to move on and make a statement. Di Maria is playing his last tournament with Benfica and he's eager to make a mark. He is a player that knows how to score in important games. So I trust in Di Maria to guide Benfica beyond Chelsea. Chelsea didn't look that strong, although they are the current Europa League champions. Now, the most important game for the American fan. PSG versus Miami. That's right, Paris Saint-Germain, the current champions of UEFA Champions League, will face Messi's team. It's no secret that Messi has said that he did not enjoy his time in Paris, and I am sure he will do everything in his power to knock his former team out of the competition, but that is no joke because in front of them they have Vitinha, they have Dembélé, and they have a whole squad that has proven that they are right now the best team in the world. But in front of them, there's Messi. And you do not bet against Messi on an elimination game because he has Busquets, he has Jordi Alba, and he has a growing ensemble of young players that are following his orders and following his cue, and I wouldn't be surprised if Miami knocks out a giant this weekend. Then Flamengo versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, a team that started the competition with the highest number of goals scored in a single game, 10-0 against Auckland. Now, after that, the performance were so-so. They struggled in their last game, but in front, they will have Flamengo. Flamengo has the flair, has the samba that is needed to face this machinery, this German precision. I say that although the Brazilians will score, Bayern Munich will take this game and probably make their way to the finals. Another electrifying European versus Brazilian encounter. We are talking about Inter de Milan, the runner-ups for the Champions League, against Fluminense. Fluminense was not that convincing during the group stage, not like the other Brazilian teams. In front, they have Inter de Milan that started really slow in the tournament, but little by little they have been growing and scoring goals. So my prediction is that Inter moves on with a score of 3-1. Manchester City in front of Al Hilal. Al Hilal was able to tie Real Madrid, so they are no strangers of stealing points from giants, but right now Manchester City seems to be remembering why they were the best team in the world for such a long period of time. Pep Guardiola is finally able to again communicate to their team how they need to play, and the return of Rodri, the Ballon d'Or and best player in the world last year, has changed the face of this team. I think that Manchester City will win this tournament all the way to the final because the last two games they scored 10 goals. Real Madrid, one of the most winning teams in the world, is facing Juventus, an elite team from Italy. I think that although Juventus has a struggle in the competition, they will be a tough nut to break for Real Madrid. But Real Madrid is Real Madrid and they know how to win this game. So I think that Los Blancos will move on to the next phase. And finally, we have Borussia Dortmund versus Monterrey. I think that Monterrey has something special. They started really organized in the back with an impeccable defensive game, obviously, because Sergio Ramos is their captain. And I wouldn't be surprised if Monterrey pulls the upset and kicks Dortmund out of the competition. So there you have it. Exciting upcoming games this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Football galore, my friends. But we have to say goodbye, and we want to thank you, the MVP of LatiNation Football Club, for choosing to spend your time with us. I am your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and I'll see you next week.
We all know a night out at the club in Vegas can get a little bit pricey, but I've got a tip that can save you a cover fee at some of the hottest nightclubs. All you have to do is sign up online for free with a credible guest list service. Then, just show up before 10:30 and check right in. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high, but the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play. every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sports.